Moriarty. Oh, lore. Well, I mean, of course, lore because Brent Spiner's in the show, so it makes sense because there's no more data. There's just lore.
I'm like, who is she? Because she seems like she's somebody.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a reveal. It was a recast of someone who used to be on Next Gen or something.
And who was the guy at the end?
That's Moriarty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the holodeck Moriarty that went off to see the stars because.
Nice. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We will be back with our top 5 favorite horror video games, a review of Smile, Hocus Pocus 2, and much, much more. We'll see you guys on the other side of our intro. Can't wait to talk to you. Yes, I am filibustering right now because I did not have the intro logged in yet. So. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Three Geeks podcast. We are back. We are here. We are excited to talk to you all about some fun stuff that's come out. Did anybody check out Smile this weekend?
I wanted to. I was going to do it either like today or later this week.
I wasn't able to. I was watching other stuff at home.
This movie, for some reason, I might be the only one in America. This movie terrified me, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. The imagery of them smiling, like in the dark corners, I even did this once because it was too much at one point. But I went with like a 10-year-old who was just sitting in their chair like this, like not even impressed. So it might just be me, but something about that imagery just like really shook me. I really enjoyed this movie. I like the ending very, very much, and I highly recommend it to anybody that's looking for something horrifying to see this month. I mean,
I've been hearing some decent stuff about it. Like it's actually like you said, like unsettling and creepy. I'm just reminded a lot of that. What came? Truth or Dare.
Oh yeah, that Smile was
It just reminded me a lot of that, and I'm just like, that's silly. But this might actually be good. So
it is. It's definitely more scary than Truth or Dare was, for sure. Yeah, I guess it is getting good reviews, so that makes me very happy. But the main character, played by Saucy Bacon, I hope I'm saying that correctly.
There's no way that's a person's name. Absolutely not.
There's no way that's. Yeah, wait a minute. 1 second here. Let's get a dialect coach in here.
We got Mike. Don't worry, he's gonna.
I'm not a dialect coach. I'm just gonna try to phonetically.
I just don't think Saucy Bacon. Imagine.
I mean,
kudos to the parents if that's the case.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, bacon. It's spelled like bacon. So, but I'd say like Saucy.
So we'll call her Saucy Bacon.
Saucy Bacon.
I mean, it's Saucy. Got a brother named Saucy. It's great.
She carries this movie on her shoulders. She does a fantastic job. Cal Penn as her boss is terrific. Jesse Usher, who the only thing I've ever seen Jesse Usher in was Independence Day 2. So this is definitely a huge step up from the performance I saw him give us in the previous movie.
Was he, what's his name's son? Will Smith's son?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But this movie is a 4.5 out of 5 for me personally.
Oh man, you liked it that much?
I really did. I don't want to get into the ending on here, but I like the ending.
Cool. I'm excited to see it then. Yeah.
Saucy.
Old Saucy Bacon.
That's right.
I want. If she has a child, she definitely should name that child Saucy.
Everybody should name their child Saucy.
Just middle name at least.
Saucy.
Let's not be naming our children Saucy.
What about ketchup? Just like random mustard.
Yeah. Name your kid Saucy if you want them to grow up and become a stripper. That's all I'm saying. But All right, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
got like an interview with her in like 6 months or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, how do we say your name?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't want us to refer to you as saucy during this interview, but the other thing I watched and was Hocus Pocus 2. And if anybody listens to this podcast, you know that I absolutely despise the first film. I don't know what it was. I watched it. I didn't get into it. But yesterday, Kylie was babysitting, and the 10-year-old said, "Would you watch Hocus Pocus 2 with me?" And I'm like, "Sure." I haven't seen it, dude. I laughed a lot.
Cool.
Have you seen it yet, Justin? Because I know you liked the
No,
first
I like
one.
the first one. Eventually, I'll get to it, but no, I have not seen it yet.
What about you, Mike? Did you watch Hocus Pocus? It's funny.
No
It
interest.
landed some good laughs with me. I like it when she's on the electric vacuum cleaners flying. That's a fantastic little gimmick. Instead of having brooms, because they only had 2 brooms, so she got the automatic vacuum.
That was in the first movie, right? She had a vacuum. One of the witches had a vacuum cleaner too, right? It was one of the plug-in the walls, but I thought so.
Maybe I had only seen it once, but no, the second one I laughed a lot. So
Yeah.
I might. I think it's inspired me to go back and revisit the first one again because I can't imagine liking this one and not liking the original. So maybe I was just not in the right headspace to watch the original when I watched it.
Sure.
But yeah, this is 3 out of 5. It's not changing cinema in any shape or form.
It's not Smile.
I don't know how many times I'll revisit it, but no, dude, Smile impacted me because the movie Smile is about dealing with past trauma and stuff. So like it really hits you in the feels. And
it was just a surface level joke, man. We gotta delve into it.
we can dive into it, Justin. Dive. But yeah, 3 out of 5 for Hocus Pocus.
Cool.
I have one more thing I want to review, which is the Chucky premiere.
Yeah.
If you guys like the first season of Chucky, this show is more of the same. It's fantastic. I love that the 2 lead characters are gay teenagers. I like what they're doing with the female character in this show as well. I like how they use the legacy cast within this series. And man, Brad Dourif is just fantastic as Chucky, and he gets to play around with some different voices in the season 2 premiere. And I'm all in on this series. It's Chucky series should not have been good, like at all. Anybody who listens to our podcast knows that my cousin's dating somebody involved with the Child's Play show, movies, and series, and I'm just so glad I didn't have to lie to her. Like I really thought I'd have to lie to her. Like, yeah, that was great, but no, it really is a good show, and I think that more people should check it out. Yeah,
It's Brad Dourif. He's the guy from Blade, right? Am I totally off base? I know his last name was Dwarf.
No, you're thinking of
Steven
Dorff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steven Dorff was the bad guy in Blade.
Are they related?
No,
or different spelling?
Completely different spelling.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Brad Dourif, he was in the original Dune. He was in Lord of the Rings. He was Grima Wormtongue.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Exorcist
One
3.
Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Exorcist 3 is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah. So watch Chucky, everybody.
Can I talk about my mediocre horror weekend?
Of course you can.
I watched Werewolf by Night. Have you guys seen Werewolf by Night yet? The special?
I have not yet.
No, is it good? Do you like it?
It's fine. That's what I go to for any Disney thing, I'm sure. But like, I mean, everyone's talking about it being like this game changer in terms of like, oh, they're delving into like more mature, darker stuff. I'm like, not really. I mean, the main thing I took away from it is like stylistically, it's pretty great because it is an homage to like, Universal monster movies and
that's
shot
fun.
in black and white and things. It does take some stylistic liberties that other Marvel shows haven't yet, or other Marvel things haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are still the same as they would be in any other Marvel product. Like they're pretty disaffected by anything that's happening. Like they have this knowing kind of wink to the audience, like we know this is silly on some level, so we got to kind of mock it in our own kind of way. The main guy, he gets a little bit more invested in the emotions of certain aspects, but then immediately just kind of reverts back to the Marvel Universe. What a world, right? So it's exactly the same like a lot of other Marvel products, but I'll give them kudos. Like stylistically, it's very different.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. I'm glad that it's not a series. I'm glad it was a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I've seen it yet, but I hope that I hope down the line we get maybe a few less series a year. Like we talked about this with John a few weeks ago, and more of these specials I'd be okay with, and less series. But
honestly, it clipped along really well for a special. Like it's not even an hour, but I think that's fine if you're just gonna do these. I guess you could call them one shots.
Yeah, just tell your story, right? Like however long
Just
that
tell your
takes.
story, get in, get out. We don't need to make it like a weekly reoccurrence, like other shows or series, because I don't think it really lends itself to that.
Mhm.
There's only so many times you could watch a werewolf transform and be like, I get it.
one of the horror movies I'm going to dive into this year that I've never seen, or if I have seen it, it was a long time ago, which is The Howling. Because I don't have a lot of werewolf movies in my back pocket that I can say, hey, I've seen this.
Howling's good, man. I like the Howling, honestly.
Scott!
Two in 2 weeks.
I know, it's crazy.
Good clip.
I like how Scott chose today to say he's going to be late, even though he's late every time he's on this show.
Well,
Hey, let's not shame Scott. I want him to come back.
I have
Sorry,
a reputation to keep
right.
up.
Did you watch the Hellraiser movie, Scott, by any chance?
I haven't gotten to it yet. No.
Okay.
Oh, Mike, you did, though. How was it?
I've only seen Hellraiser 1 and Hellbound, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any of the other myriad of Hellraiser sequels that came out after those. It feels like a fine enough follow-up to the first two movies. Again, I haven't seen the 1,600 other Hellraisers. This one seemed fine to me.
I have one question for you about it. Is it a sequel?
I mean, it's playing in that like sequel, soft reboot, total remake type of thing. Because like, I looked it up just to see like, because the Pinhead in this, is being played by a different, an actress, and their only title is the Priest, and I can't remember if that's what the original Pinhead was called in the first film or not off the top of my head, but
I don't think so. I'm not. I can't. Don't quote me on that.
Okay, so it could be just another Cenobite, that just happens to have pins in its head, or it could just be a total reimagining of Pinhead. It worked for me. Dr. Luca from ER has never looked like he's had more fun. It gets silly in the third act. It gets a little silly in the third act, but I feel that's the way it goes with a lot of Hellraiser stuff anyways, because it goes big towards the end, obviously, with Leviathan and all these weird hell world type of things. But
just pop that box open, yeah.
I'm in. I can't wait to check it out. I like the concept of Hellraiser. I've read the book and I've seen the first 3.5 movies. I checked out after half of the fourth one, but I liked the first two. The third one was silly fun, and the fourth one I just found really boring. And then I was like, I don't need to continue right now. I can take a break.
I will say I was missing having like a truly hateful antagonist that we had in like the first two, in the form of God, what was her name?
It's a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. The one that
the wife who was cheating on with the uncle, and I can't remember her name.
I forget her name too.
But like, just remember how much you were like, "Oh, this woman is terrible."
Yeah, she's gonna get hers at some point. Yeah,
it's like you're waiting for that comeuppance. You don't really get that here in this particular movie. I felt like there's comeuppance for characters certainly, but it's not as satisfying as being like watching like an actual like hateful character that you're meant to hate finally get their own.
Was it Julia?
Julia?
No, I think she's the protagonist.
Yeah.
Julia or Christy are the two female leads, character-wise.
Well, no, I mean, it's the older woman who's having the affair with the uncle.
Yeah.
And she abates him hiding out in the attic to kill people.
Yeah, she lures them upstairs and they get murdered.
Yeah, it's a good movie and book. Dan had recommended I read, there's a Hellraiser follow-up which combines some of the characters from Hellraiser and Lord of Illusion, I believe. So I picked that up. I'm going to read that soon. But I like the Hellraiser franchise, and I thought the first two were pretty creepy. And when they mentioned that they were rebooting it with a female, it piqued my interest, because I like it when if they're going to bring something back, let's try it from a different angle is how I like to look at these things. And then Doug Bradley started to jump on saying, hey, this thing is actually pretty good. And then Clive Barker, which I don't think Clive Barker has put his backing behind any of these movies since the second one. So I started to get a little bit more excited, and I can't wait to check it out. I'm going to check it out today, I think.
Now I just need him to talk about bringing Nightbreed back. Jesus. I need my Nightbreed fix. Come on.
You might get it. Scott, a lot of Star Trek dropped. I want to talk to you more about Picard Season 3, because I checked out of Season 2, and I don't know, man. Season 3, the trailer, it looks fun in the sense that I'm excited to see all these guys back together again. Did you see the trailer?
I haven't. I heard it dropped. I haven't watched it yet. I saw the new Discovery trailer, which looks like kind of like more of the same. I have also been checked out of Discovery for I don't even know what season we're on now. I think I checked out sometime like you in season 2. I also didn't finish Picard season 2.
Discovery gets really good around whenever they time jump into the future is when the show really starts to pick up. I think that was 3. I'm not sure though.
2 was just bad, and I know a lot of people it didn't get great reviews. Some people said they liked it, but I just couldn't get through it. So, but yeah, I have heard that it's kind of gotten a little bit better. I haven't watched Strange New Worlds yet. People say that's good.
Mm-hmm. I hear that
they say it's more like kind of the classic Trek format. So, I've just been watching so many other things. I haven't had time to get back to Star Trek, especially because I don't have much motivation to watch it. So, but yeah, my whole thing with Picard season 3, I'm excited for them to get back together too, but it just feels weird that they had, season 1, which I, thought had its moments, but overall didn't really care for it. Season 2 just kind of felt like a lot of running in place, and then now they're like, oh, we're gonna bring everybody back for the last season. I feel like they could have just done that for the first season, and then it feels like they were. I don't know if this was their plan all along, or if they realized they were losing a lot of people in season 2, because I know season 2 also wasn't very well received with all the weird time travel stuff.
That's kind of how
they filmed back to back, right? Season 2 and 3, I believe. So maybe as returns were coming on season 2, maybe there was a shift at some point, being like, let's
just give the people what they want instead of telling the story that we had planned out, because it's not working for us. Because I heard nothing good about season 2 from anybody.
But did they go into the next into season 2 knowing that they only were going to do one more?
I think so.
I think from the very beginning. From the very beginning, they knew they were only going to have 3 seasons.
Okay.
Which is why I thought that season 2 was just a huge waste of time. The fact that they're time travel and they're so shocked with the state of things. It's yeah, that's how things were here. I don't know why everyone's so horrified that things were shitty in 2024.
They did a whole movie about the fallout of the World War III type of thing.
World War III is how you get to Star Trek. That's the whole point of the show.
That's First Contact, Picard. You were there.
Well, it's not him necessarily. It's some of these other people. But again, I don't know how you wouldn't know your history.
Yeah, it's kind of so something happened in 1776. We're not quite sure, but
yeah. Or the fact that one of the guys is I'm going to stay behind and help fix this. Wouldn't that unless you know for sure that there's some kind of weird time loop, wouldn't you not want to stay behind?
Well, don't they have
because you're gonna fuck up the timeline?
Shouldn't Picard be getting a visit from that agency or whatever that went to go see Cisco about the Tribbles thing?
Yeah, the I don't know what their actual name is, but yeah, the people, the temporal police or whatever from Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah, shouldn't he be getting a visit from them soon, being so you know the rules, dude. What the hell?
Yeah. So I don't know. Season 2, like I said, just felt like a lot of jogging in place, and now it feels like they're trying to either make up for season 2 or try and send it off on a positive note. So I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I'll check it out. I'll give it a chance like I did season 2.
There'll be some familiar faces.
Oh yeah. No fucking way.
Familiar faces.
Yeah, I hope they fan service the crap out of season 3 for next generation fans and just end it on a positive note, because that's the best way to go. Because Jean-Luc Picard, I mean, like I said, I liked season 1. I didn't watch season 2 because nobody said anything positive to me about it, so I just avoided it. But give the fans what they want. Like, let's have this one more adventure with this crew, and then send Jean-Luc Picard out on a positive.
I don't think we need it. That's my whole thing. Like, I hope it's good, but like Next Gen wrapped up so well. Like season 7 wasn't the greatest. You could tell they were kind of running out of ideas, and I know there were issues in the writers' room. But like season 7 ends on such a great note. Like, you don't need to send him off on a positive note. He's been sent off before in the best way possible.
We've already got the retread of the 2 seasons, so now we need to send him off on a positive note again.
Yeah.
Speaking of fan service, did anyone else watch She-Hulk? Latest episode?
I just watched season 4.
I am not caught up yet. No, but you can spoil it if you want. That's fine.
We know Daredevil's in it.
Yeah, the Daredevil.
He's in all the trailers.
Yeah,
oh, gotcha. Cool.
I enjoyed it. Like, I know people are like, every week someone's complaining about She-Hulk for some reason. But like, I know some people were like, that's not my Daredevil in the Netflix show. I'm like, dude, Daredevil isn't like Batman. He's not some grim, humorless dick all the time. Like, he can have, and also they're like, oh, they're gonna kidify him. Like, you remember Daredevil fought a dude called Stilt Man?
Right.
And plus, they're comic book characters first and foremost, folks.
Yeah.
Plus,
oh yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Plus, it's Daredevil on She-Hulk. Like, Daredevil in the Spider-Man movie was pretty. I mean, Matt Murdock was a pretty serious guy, but this is in an Ally McBeal superhero type show. Like, he's not going to be like dark and brooding the whole time. That wouldn't fit the tone.
And it's just like, I heard some people. Well, and also, so again, spoilers here. Daredevil and She-Hulk hook up, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, how could he? Virtuous Daredevil. How could he do?" I'm like, Daredevil gets around, man.
Yeah.
Like, even like they established this in his own show back in the Netflix days. Like, he gets around. So
yeah. One Night Stand, Daredevil would never. I read that. I think I read the same review you did. Daredevil would never do that.
Like,
I love all the people complaining about the costume because they're like, I don't care if it's comics accurate. I don't like it. It's like they cherry pick when the comics, it's like source material matters. But as soon as it's like, they bring the yellow costume, which I always thought, it's not like a very modern look, but I kind of like his classic, like, especially like the all yellow with the red letters on it. I always like that look personally.
Especially since, like, in the Netflix show.
There we go. What's up, Paul? A shout out to Paul. Paul was with me on the Scene Snobs 3-year anniversary show last Thursday. Paul's a good dude. Thanks, Paul.
I mean, especially since, like, in the Netflix show, like they kept him mainly in that black leotard outfit for the most part, and he wore that briefly in the comics, but like he wasn't in his traditional Daredevil outfit for a majority of the show, so it's like, and it still worked, so it's fine.
No,
they really leaned into the Man Without Fear look for a good chunk of season 1.
Yeah.
One of the things I liked about episode 4, let's go back 5 episodes, was the fact that, like, in the opening of episode 4, or maybe it was 3, they acknowledged that, they acknowledged the fans' criticism. Like, my Hulk isn't a female. Like, why can't she get her own name? Why does she have to be She-Hulk? And I found that funny that they were,
they're ahead of the curve with regards to that, because they
knew it was coming.
That was coming because it's so predictable. It's a grift at this point to have those talking points. And it's just like, it's a worn out and tired grift too, because this episode actually calls back to the premiere a little bit, which a lot of like those fans were getting worked up about, where in the first episode, Jen's saying like, I have to control my anger all the time, so I'm infinitely more efficient at it than you are. And everyone's like, oh, but because she's a woman or whatever. And it's like, no, that pays off in this episode, because this whole show has been about like, how are we going to get her to a breaking point? And this episode was about that breaking point. So it's not like, oh, we're going to throw this in there because she's a woman and women can do no wrong. It's like, no, that's what we call, I don't know, a journey for a character arc, development. It's like, it's amazing what happens if you actually like watch the whole show and not have like one isolated scene in the premiere taken out of context.
Crazy. Right? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I had a friend over yesterday and we were talking about superhero movies, and back in the day, we only had like the one superhero movie every 2 years. So when like Fantastic Four came out, we were all super excited over a movie that was mediocre at best. And now we get mostly good content or some good content out of the superhero stuff, and people still complain about it. It's ridiculous. Just like, if it's not for you, don't watch it. Just shut up about the whole female thing, because nobody cares. Nobody that has sense cares.
I think we're kind of getting to the point where, it's kind of a reflection of the comics. There's so much stuff out there, and there's varying levels of quality. Like, not everything is going to be, an Iron Man 1 in terms of tone and production values and stuff. Because that's how the comics were. Like, there's so much variety just in, Marvel comics. Even just within like, Spider-Man's run, there's like all different kind of things happening. So like, you don't have to read and watch everything.
I do like the Ally McBeal influence on She-Hulk. Like, I love this type of show, and I'm glad that episode 9 is great, because after reading that review, I'm like, is Daredevil really that bad in this episode? And then hearing Mike say that he was fine makes me very happy.
He's consistent. Charlie Cox doesn't turn in, he doesn't sleepwalk in that role. Like, he's good. Mm-hmm. It works. And so, yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing too, is that like, yeah, this isn't meant to be in the vein of, say, a Captain America or an Iron Man or Avengers movie. It's like, She-Hulk is supposed to be fun and meta. That's what the best known She-Hulk comics were. Like, she would talk to her writer. She'd talk to John Byrne through the panel and be like, "You're really putting me up against Toadman, Byrne?" It's like,
I do want to touch on one more thing before we get into our top 5, which is Ryan Reynolds released Ryan Reynolds tease for Deadpool 3 in very Ryan Reynolds vein, and I loved every second of it. I love all the Hugh Jackman puns that were in the video, and I like that they made a second video where he's like, yeah, Logan died in 2029. We're nowhere near that time period, so everybody, like, just chill.
Who gives a shit? Jackman, let my boy collect his check. Like,
the man has wanted to be in an MCU movie since like 2007. Like, let him be in this Deadpool MCU film and make his.
And he's getting old. He's getting older. If he wants to do the work to get his body back into like Wolverine shape,
dude, it was in that video. Did you see his veins were like popping out?
I'm sure. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot. I've watched interviews of him. They talk about it. Like, it's miserable for him to get ready for that role.
I'm looking forward to the two of them together because they seem to have some kind of bromance. Even in Deadpool 1, there's a lot of Hugh Jackman references.
If they swill for Reynolds' gin, though, I swear. Like, I know Deadpool's supposed to be very meta and stuff, but I swear I see one bottle of aviation gin in that movie, though. That will be
his phone company.
I'm gonna be like, I get it, dude. You love your gin. Please stop reminding me about it.
Yeah, is it Quick Mobile? What's the mobile company? Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Boost
Mobile or something.
Boost with aviation. Just layer in there.
Doesn't Hugh Jackman have his own gin too?
Yeah.
Well, they're just taking shots of their own gin at the start of the movie.
Sorry, Mike. I think you're going to get a gin reference if they're both in the movie.
Other than that, I'll probably be okay with the movie. But you better believe I'll have a 5-minute tirade about, like, we need to do something about our product placement in movies.
We need to be better.
All right, guys. Let's do our top 5 horror video games. This list is exciting. I was trying to come up with something, and we haven't never done this, I don't think, on the show before. So
we might have. I feel like we've talked about something of it, but it's all good. They can a refresh 2022 version.
So, and we're still going to do
to delay it because Max is on the podcast and he doesn't like horror. So
yeah,
that's true.
We're still going to do our remake revolution of a children's classic, especially now that we have another children's classic being remade into a horror movie. Mike, tell the good folks about it.
The Grinch, yeah, it's called The Mean One, I believe, and Cindy Lou Who, or I'm probably not going to be Cindy Lou Who because copyright, but she comes back to town after like her family was slaughtered by the Green Man or whatever and is seeking revenge. But you mentioned remake revolution, and I just want to say one of our past remake revolutions is a reality. Kind of, sort of, because Mario Brothers movie. That's all.
Oh yeah, we've done a
Video
couple.
games tying into video games. So
We willed Mario and we willed the Winnie the Pooh movie into the world.
I'm just saying Jack Black's in a Mario movie, and I think we predicted that.
Oh my god, man! I love his Bowser voice. I think I said that in the comments. Like that was my takeaway from the trailer.
It's funny that Jack Black is getting praise. Chris Pratt, it's like, what is
It's
that?
destroyed.
I did see a fun tweet. It's like I can't unhear it now either. It's like it sounds like Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers.
What a good
Yeah,
note.
that's-
Yeah, what a good
Like
note.
I can't unhear it now. It's like really good.
I thought Chris Pratt was going to be awfully dreadful in the thing. So the fact that I didn't find it absolutely dreadful, the voice didn't really bother me. But I can see the complaints because it is just Chris Pratt.
with a slight Boston twist to it.
Yeah. I'm glad that Chris Pratt's not trying to phone in an Italian accent though.
Yeah, that would be worse.
That makes me happy. That sounds dope as hell. The Grinch horror film. I'm all about that.
What if
Yeah, I think I
Krampus
am,
is
Paul.
just driving the Grinch around, throwing it into like?
Well, no, it wouldn't be Krampus. It'd be Max. Max is like an attack
Oh, yeah,
dog now,
yeah.
where he's like Cerberus with antlers.
That'd
Yeah.
be terrifying. It's a chihuahua just mauling people.
All right, folks. I'm gonna go first with my fifth favorite video game horror movie show, and I think the reason Sorry,
I was like,
think
we're
the
not
reason-
shows, are we? Because I definitely did not do that.
This is a new game, and I think the reason it made my list is because I'm currently playing it and absolutely enjoying it, and that's the Evil Dead game that came out a few months ago. I love everything about it. You're Ash in this world, and it's fantastic. And the game is creepy. Like, it's not just, the campy fun from 2 and 3. It has genuine creeps in it, and I love this game. It's so much fun.
Sweet.
Is there a
Check it out.
bonus level where you get beat up by Sam Raimi?
Not that I know of.
That should be a
Yet.
thing. Like that'd be kind of awesome if you just have like a digital Sam Raimi come in and just like whack you over the head with a ruler or something, or push you down a hill, or what was the story? Bruce Campbell fucked up his leg on the first Evil Dead, and so Sam Raimi just throughout production would be poking his knee.
I love those guys' friendship, and I think I'm gonna say this. This might be a bold statement. It might not, but I think Evil Dead is the most consistent horror franchise because even the remake was fantastic.
I watched the first two last night before I went out. I was like, I'm gonna watch Evil Dead and Dead by Dawn. Like,
Because they're all good to great. Like there's not even a lull in them, and I'm looking forward to Evil Dead High Rise that's coming out soon.
I think it's just Evil Dead Rise.
Okay.
Evil Dead High Rise.
That's not that Rock movie with horror.
They
I
get
haven't
a
watched
loft.
all of it, but Ash
Yes,
vs.
okay.
Evil Dead was really good from what I saw of it too.
Ash and Company get a loft in Midtown.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mention the show. The show was
the show a lot too.
the show was amazing. It was everything you loved about Evil Dead 2, I would say.
And Army of Darkness. It's very
Yeah.
Army of Darkness esque in terms of tone, I would say.
When he is that sequence with him and the dead body in season 2, just I laughed so hard for so long. I watched it like 4 times in a row because I never thought I needed to see that, and I saw it, and I'm like, holy shit! I can't believe I went my whole life without seeing this.
Is it still streaming on a platform somewhere?
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's
Is
on
it on
Netflix, I
Netflix?
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to catch up. I only saw the pilot back in the day, so I'm gonna have to catch up on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll love it, Mike, if you love that franchise. Justin, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is a game I played a lot with a bunch of friends, which was a lot of fun. Left 4 Dead.
Hell yeah.
You just run through different movie sets. I think they were movie sets and just kill zombies and different things. It was a lot of fun. You're like actors, I think, right? And like you're just trying to run through scenes, and it's a lot of fun.
I don't think it's the context of acting.
Oh no, I forgot, wasn't it? I thought it was. Either way, it's a great game.
There might
Fair
be a game that's like that, but I mean, at least in terms of like the context of the game, it's played, as you're in universe. So,
Oh, I gotcha.
but yeah, Left 4 Dead 2. It didn't make it almost made my list, but yeah, I 100% agree. I had a lot of fun with those games. I haven't played them in a while, but they're super, they're still playable to this day.
Oh yeah, that's kind of why I brought it up. Like 3 or 4 months ago, a couple of buddies and I got online and played Left 4 Dead 2, and it still holds up pretty well. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome, Scott. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is the original Doom.
Oh, that's a fun one.
It's not as scary a game as some of the others on my list, but even today, like it's still got some creepy imagery. And I remember way back in the day, there was a guy named Justin Fisher made a total conversion that turned it into an Aliens game that was even more creepy. And I played the hell out of both of those growing up. And I know I've still got the WAD files around here on a hard drive kicking around. So very effective. And yeah, they both hold a special place in my heart.
I remember before school, every morning at 6:30, me and Amit would wake up to play Doom with each other. And from 6:30 to 7:15, that's the time it took us to get connected to each other. And then we would play for about half a game, and somebody's mom or dad would pick up the phone, and then the game would freeze, and then that was our morning. We played half of Doom after, we'd wait 45 minutes to play Doom with each other, only to get kicked off. Which kids, back in the day, if somebody picked up the phone, you didn't have
Ended your
internet
session.
anymore.
Ended your session.
Man.
All right, Mike, where are you at?
My number 5 is Ghostbusters, the video game for the Xbox 360.
Nice.
I should have paid mine too. That's good.
I genuinely like this game. I feel it's more of a sequel than Ghostbusters Afterlife ever could be. I mean, because you get all the original cast members back while they were still alive. You got an actually like cool story that, it's funny how Afterlife kind of echoed this with like, let's lean into Gozer and Shandor stuff a little bit more. And this video game did it first. It's got great atmosphere to it. Like I'm legitimately creeped out whenever I'm in the Sedgwick Hotel. Then there's like the ghost fisherman, Gordon's fisherman ghost that is like wandering the hallways. Like I'm freaked out whenever there's the Black Widow spider ghost woman, and then you're in like cemeteries and stuff. Like it's actually like a creepy game, but still funny, still engaging, and the cast is, except for Bill Murray, the cast is really invested.
That's what I was gonna say. My only downside to the game is Bill Murray is obviously bored when he's reading his script.
He's so tired. It's like he's supposed to be his love interest is like Alyssa Milano, I think, is voicing the love interest.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's just like, yeah, well, maybe we can have some private counseling session.
Yeah, some of it sounds like he's literally reading. It's still funny. It's Bill Murray. Like even Bill Murray reading is fun, but
yeah.
I agree about that game wholeheartedly. It's fantastic, and that parts of it were supposed to be in the original Ghostbusters 3 film.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you feel like a Ghostbuster in there. I think that's a cool thing too, is they just make you a faceless, speechless, nameless Ghostbuster. That's fine. I'll take that.
Reacting. I love talking to the painting in the firehouse.
Oh yeah, Vigo. It's like trolling you in the firehouse. Yeah.
My number 4 is Nightmare on Elm Street on the NES. I think this game scared me when I was a kid. I loved this game so much, and it doesn't get the love that I think it deserves for what it was back then. But yeah, it's fun. Nightmare on Elm Street.
My number 4. I don't know if folks played The Forest, but you kind of crash. Yeah, it's your character that crash lands, I think, from an airplane, Scott, right? And it is just terrifying. Like I actually went, when you started the game off, you go down into this pit, and if you take a wrong turn, you meet like a mutant that has like 8 arms, and it terrified me. You can play it in VR. You can play it with friends. It's just a cannibal tribe that's trying to eat you, I believe, for the most part. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you're looking for your son who you lose in the crash. So, yeah, it's really scary, especially like at night.
I'm glad Scott can support Mental for us. Cool.
Yeah.
Since I watched it or played it, rather. Cool.
All right, Scott, where are you at?
All right, my number 4 is Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you haven't played it, it was the same people who made the Penumbra games, if that means anything to you. But it's a game where you're basically this kind of Victorian English gentleman, and you wake up with no memory in this dark, spooky castle, and there's kind of like a note to yourself with an end goal. And you just have to get through the game. You don't have any kind of methods of defense. You're like there's nothing you can do to the monsters, and yeah, it's very effective and very creepy. So definitely worth a check out or watch a let's play or something if you don't want to spend the money on it. But it's usually like on sale for pretty cheap on Steam or Good Old Games or whatever. So
I've seen some let's plays of it. Yeah, it looks like it looks trippy.
Yeah, so it is a very interesting game. So and still pretty scary, even though it's aged a decent amount by this time.
My number 4 is Prey, also for the Xbox 360, the original one. Maybe more sci-fi, but I mean, it's basically like you and a couple of other people in your town are like abducted all in one go by aliens, and you're just kind of dumped into the ship and have to figure out how to get out of there. And it's creepy. Like the interiors are like extremely like unsettling. Like it gets gory and graphic as it goes along.
A lot of body horror for sure.
Yeah, a lot of body horror in it. So I'm like, okay, this is working for me quite a bit. I can't remember if I ever beat it though. I can't remember if I ever beat the game. I got pretty far in it, but I was just like, man, this is a lot.
That's a game that's in like a weird like rights hell thing, so there hasn't been like a modern release of it in a really long time.
Didn't they try like a next gen version of, but it had nothing to do with
the
pre-established one.
The current gen Prey, the one with the like weird like mimics that can take the form of creatures and objects and stuff, I think might have like a reference to the original or something like that, but it's basically its own thing.
Nice. All right, my number 3 this is going to surprise a lot of people. The first Resident Evil game I ever played was Resident Evil 5. That one's not scary. Resident Evil 7 is my number 3 because when I was playing this game, and I've played since then, but I had to pick this one because like there's a scene in this game where I got terrified to the point where I screamed and like everybody in the house ran to the living room to check on me. Like the game scared the shit out of me. And I still love this game, and since then I've gone back and played the others. It's just a great franchise, but yeah.
What was the part that made you scream?
It's something in the house. I don't remember. I think it was the old man chasing me. I don't know. I get really into it. So, Justin, what are you number 3?
Number 3, Phasmaphobia. More so with friends. Make sure you play it with friends, I think. But it's a lot of fun to kind of go ghost hunting in houses in VR and or not in VR and just right there at your desk. But I really liked that game. It was a novel idea when I first played it, I think a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But it's just a lot of fun. It can get repetitive after a while, and you probably stop being scared. But like, I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I haven't played it, but it looks like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my number 3. We have a tie, but I think it's warranted since they're sequels. Are Dead Space 1 and 2.
Oh, that's sweet.
I've heard a lot of good things about this franchise.
That's actually higher on my list. That was that game scared the bejesus out of me, Scott. That first one, coming out of the rafters or whatever the vents. I was like, not for me.
The first one, it took me a while to warm up to it because it is kind of like a, it wears its references on its sleeve. So, but you kind of get to appreciate it more that you like to play it. So it's just really solid gameplay. They still hold up really well. If you're playing the PC version of the first one, make sure you get the mouse fix. Otherwise, it's really hard to play. But 1 and 2 are just solid third-person shooter horror games. So definitely worth your time.
Awesome.
3 for me, that would be Friday the 13th, the game, the online one that was released a few years ago. I got to play a couple, quite a few rounds of it and so forth. It's fun. I definitely, whenever I think in a horror movie, like, why don't they do this? Or why aren't they more logical? Like, I get it now. I get it why rash decisions happen. Because first of all, good luck trying to get your team organized on trying to get out of there. Like,
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
no one listens to one another. It's just like everyone just snatches up stuff before you can get to it. It's like, let's get the car going here. Who's got the gas can? No one's got the gas can. What the hell, guys? We know the car needs gas. Who wants to drive? Oh my god, you don't know how to drive in this inverted joystick? Oh, come on. It's more fun to be Jason.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Do you have the game?
I downloaded it, like I said, a couple years ago, and I haven't been on, obviously in a long time, but I do remember the initial, like, just because I wanted to play as Jason Voorhees, but that's the crapshoot. Like,
Yeah.
more often than not, you're a counselor, and it's like,
It's a fun experience though. Overall, the game's fun, but I agree, Mike. It's a good game. My number 2 is Stubbs the Zombie. This was
Nice.
a really hard to find game for a while. Came out on the Xbox. I think the Xbox version goes for an absurd amount of money, but they recently re-released it on the 3 previous gen systems: the Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4. And man, do I love this game. Got it from the kids for Christmas on the Switch, and I played it again. It's about a little zombie who falls in love. He's just trying to find his love again later on in the game, and you just go through eating brains. It's fantastic.
Solid choice for sure.
Stubbs the Zombie. I'll have to check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, man, you'd like it, I think.
I think Paul's got some.
Yeah, Paul had a comment.
I'm not the most elaborate gamer. I love Doom 3, The Quarry. I want to check out The Quarry. Dead by Daylight's another one I want to check out.
Yeah.
Little Nightmares. I did enjoy the horror elements from Dishonored.
Dishonored. It's more, I mean, steampunkish than anything else, but like there's definitely a lot of like really creepy elements to Dishonored.
Yeah, Doom 3, solid pick. I know a lot of people like to shit on that game, but I really have a soft spot for Doom 3.
Nice. Has anybody else played The Quarry yet?
I have not, no. I played Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and they both are very creepy.
Nice. All right. Where are we at? Who are we on?
I think Justin is up.
Justin, you're muted, buddy.
I was talking for so many minutes. But no, I feel like this is kind of a loose add to this list, but when I first heard horror kind of the category, I was thinking Bioshock, and I was specifically thinking Bioshock Infinite. It's such a good story, but it's a very dystopian like thing. But that game really sucked me in terms of the storyline, kind of following DeWitt around, and or that's not the right name, right? Is it DeWitt? I forget the name.
Yeah, Booker DeWitt.
Yeah. But yeah, following him around and watching his timeline shift and trying to get his daughter back. I really liked it. If you had not played Bioshock Infinite, please do.
It is a good game, and it is like it's not the scariest game in the series. I would say it doesn't lean into the horror as much, but like just that kind of opening when you're walking through, and like it's just kind of like unsettling, and then suddenly when the entire populace turns on you, like it is very unnerving and creepy.
Yeah. Just the atmosphere. I'm not even sure it was like directly scary, but it was just like the uneasiness.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension, and then when they finally do turn hostile, it is very effective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We are being told gents by 3 Geeks Podcast. I think that's George. Hi, George.
It's George. Hey, George. You're very consistent. Hey, George.
All right, Scott.
Where are we at? Number 2. Okay. My number 2 is a recent game, sort of. Alien Isolation.
Oh, that is good.
I love everything about this game. I'm part of that camp that, neither are bad films, but I prefer the first Alien to the second. And I love that they did so well to capture everything about that movie for this game. The old, neon CRTs and all that 1970s like technology, what they imagine the future to look like. And the fact that the singular alien is just like so much of a threat, Aliens is great, but like the fact that, just one, well, spoilers, but just one is wreaking so much havoc on this station, they definitely kind of toned them down. They're kind of like cannon fodder in the second one, even though just one it can be deadly. But the fact that it's you and one alien and like nobody can kill it and your weapons aren't effective because it's so big and tough is very scary.
Oh man, the anxiety that you get worried that an alien is going to pop out at any given moment in that game is just it's amazing.
Yeah, and like especially on the harder difficulty where like it does kind of get a little unfair because it always seems to be near you, and like you basically have to crouch walk everywhere. But the fact that you like always have to be aware of like how much noise you're making and the path that you're gonna take it's just great. So definitely worth a look.
Good pick.
Yeah, that was a good one. My number 2 is The Last of Us. Just because of how quickly the first game drew me into its world. And it's not like outright like horrific all the time. I mean, it is. You know, the creatures are terrifying looking, and it's just a slog of misery throughout the whole game, but man, does it draw you in. Like that opening scene on, what was it, Breakout Day and so forth, like that absolutely had me because I invested in this character of Joel and then later on Ellie and so forth. And like, I don't know, it affected me quite a bit to be playing the game, so much so that when more horrific stuff happens, like I felt this genuine sense of dread and pressure building up with regards to what's going to get me first, the kind of sort of fungus zombies or the shitty humans. Like, so
Yeah, I'm excited for that show too.
oh yeah, like the show looks kind of boss, honestly.
Yeah, it was a very effective trailer for the show. Good pick. My number 1, even though my whole list should be shifted over, and I just because I thought of a game that should be my number 1, but I'm going to stay true to the list I wrote down. I'll bring it up in the honorable mentions, but my number 1 is the Friday the 13th NES game because it is the game I've played most in my life out of any other game. I freaking loved it as a kid. I could never get past the first day as a kid, and every time Jason popped on the screen, my anxiety, I get scared. It was great. Friday the 13th game is fantastic. As long as you can be Mark, because once Mark dies, your entire gameplay is screwed.
My number 1 was Dead Space, but I'll give you just a bonus one. Alan Wake, walking around, trying to stay in the light because there's a freaking monster here to eat you. Alan Wake's a lot of fun.
It's very good. I like the episodic base of the game.
I'm glad you can buy it again.
Yeah,
Yes.
agreed.
Definitely good choice.
All right, Scott, where are you at with number 1?
Okay, my number 1, Resident Evil 4.
Nice.
This isn't just my favorite horror game. It's probably on like my top 5, at least top 10 favorite games of all time. I know a lot of people don't like the departure from the more slow, maze-like mansions and tank controls and stuff like that, but I love Resident Evil 4. Everything about it is just so great, and it's not always the most scary game because you got Leon and other weird kooky characters cracking lame lines and stuff but that's kind of like part of its charm is the campiness to it. But it can be very creepy. Not so much, I've played it so many times it's kind of lost its effect, but it's just a fantastic game. So
that style of gameplay is what the franchise has been based off since Resident Evil 4.
Oh yeah, except when they did the switch to first person for 7. But, yeah, it's been, and even just like other games have taken inspiration from Resident Evil 4. Like a lot of games like Dead Space took their inspiration from that kind of gameplay style for sure. So it definitely refined the third person shooter formula.
Nice.
Before I get to my number 1, I was I don't know, I was a little flabbergasted. Like, no Silent Hill call outs here. Like, I was figured Silent Hill was like up there with some people.
Silent Hill is a great game.
I never actually got around to playing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I haven't. I know 1 and 2 are like pretty like favorite games in terms of horror, but I have actually never played a Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I can't really put it on my list, even though I've heard so many good things about all of them.
I'm in that category too. I never played the game, so I just figured like.
Oh, that's fair.
But
I was a Nintendo kid, not a PlayStation kid.
Oh, I see.
I was
Well,
a
my-
wuss. I had a PlayStation.
My number 1, Dead Rising.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fun.
It is the closest I'll ever get to a Dawn of the Dead simulator. Like, it's just unabashedly fun for me. Like, it's not really horrific, Like I'm pretty desensitized to the zombie antics, but like it's just fun. I just run around that shopping mall and just get into. I don't even care about the main storyline thing. Like I just want to do stuff in that mall and hack away.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in college playing that game. It was a lot of fun.
A good game. The game that I should have had on my list, but I didn't play it a whole lot. I more so watched somebody else play. But I think it has some of the best writing in video games, which is the Telltale Walking Dead series. I think that franchise is fantastic. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time Tony and I were playing together. Like we were so fiending for the final season that like I went to the library and got it from there because it's hard to replay those games like in succession. So I didn't want to buy it because they were all on Game Pass except for the final season. Even the spin-off Michonne series was really good. I hope that they make some more down the line. I even picked up the Clementine comic book. I haven't read it yet, but I love
Didn't that
character.
company go out of business?
Yeah,
they get picked up by the film.
Yeah, it's
They were
really
bought.
sad what happened to them and like their employees.
Yeah,
They have there's games starting to come out again from people involved with that.
Yeah,
So
I think the company got reacquired.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed those games a lot. I didn't play all of the newer stuff. Like I played the whatever season 2 was, but I know they had like more like adult Clem and like the Michonne spinoff, and I never played those. I think I finished around season 2.
Oh, you should keep going, man. The story is it's still good. And like I said,
Yeah.
I was so excited that Clementine's story gets to live on in comic book form. But this is the best Walking Dead thing, in my opinion. I even like it better than the comic books, and the comic books are great too. So, that's my honorable mention, which probably should have been my one if I had played it a little bit more myself instead of just watched it happen for me.
You should play Wolf Among Us as well.
I've
I've
heard
heard good things about Wolf Among Us.
It's super. I need to replay it, and I know they're coming out with a second one, but it is super good.
I enjoyed the comic book because that's that Wolf is from. I think comic books. I think that came first before the game.
I know the comic books are a bit older too.
Yeah.
I grabbed the Batman Telltale games off of a Nintendo sale, and those are pretty good. I think I've heard all of the Telltale games. Has anybody played the Game of Thrones one?
No, I saw it played a little bit. I know it's based off the show and not the books.
Yeah, I played it briefly, but not enough to give you any type of opinion on it. It was very, very short.
They made a Back to the Future one as well that I played.
That was like one of their first ones.
Ago. Yeah, it was like one of their very first ones. That one.
I remember they made a Bone video game. And I was kind of excited about that because I'm a big fan of Bone from Jeff Smith. So because the company went under. I don't know if you can get all their stuff. I know it's like a little weird getting some. Like I don't know if you can get the Back to the Future one still. It's pretty sad.
Oh, Back to the Future, another good one. Like Mike said with the Ghostbusters game, it's a good fourth movie.
Yeah, but it's not really horror.
No, it's not.
I mean, could be. Messing with time travel is horrific.
That's true.
You've affected the timeline. Now we're all
Cheers,
zombies.
Paul. Yeah, Dead Rising's awesome. I'm gonna probably play some more once we're done here.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't played Dead Rising in a long while. So. Fun.
Sweet. Good list.
Nice.
I got a couple honorable mentions unless anybody else
Go for it.
Go ahead, do it.
First on my list for honorable mentions, almost made it, was the first Outlast game. Super creepy. I played the hell out of it.
Is that the one with you have a camcorder running?
Yeah, you're the journalist who's in the insane asylum.
That's right.
And you kind of like Amnesia. You can't fight back. You just have to kind of run away.
And the doctor's not wearing pants.
That's true.
Yeah.
Your doctor doesn't do that normally.
Second one's kind of worth a look too. I didn't like it as much, but it's okay. And then any of the Alien versus Predator games are also very good. Especially the first one, AVP Gold, is just like probably my favorite Alien game besides Isolation. So.
You know what I would always what I'd be curious about is if someone made like a current gen game based off of a Universal movie monster, like a faithful kind of interpretation.
That would be fun.
Of the universe.
Like
I know we had like Vampire, but I didn't hear great things about Vampire. or anything like that. But like,
Oh yeah, that was the one where you have to like eat your friends or whatever.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are the vampire.
you're the vampire, yeah. But like a Frankenstein, I would love like a Frankenstein game that actually kind of
Black Lagoon.
Black
Like you're
Lagoon.
just kind of hunting the monster, just like you see the wake of the monster for Frankenstein.
Or if you're virtual, or just do a VR, like you are the monster and you got to figure out like how your body works.
That would be fun.
My arm keeps falling off on Tuesdays.
Just like really out there stuff, just with classic movie monsters. That'd be
That'd
kind
be
of
fun.
cool.
That would be awesome. I've always wanted a Nightmare on Elm Street game, like with a modern console, because I think there's a lot of fun you could explore in creating levels for that.
Yeah.
Because the sky's the limit on what the levels could be.
Yeah, because there's someone's dreams. Yeah.
Now
you're
you're
Remember-
playing with power.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us and tuning in. It's always fun to hang out and talk. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Recycle your droids.
See you.